from Nanook Lodge, and from the cookbook episode. You know I love these because sometimes it challenges me. I pick some things and gives me an opportunity to also show you some cool things. Today's random number generator gave us Savoring the Seasons of the Northern Heartland. It's a book by Lucia and Beth Dooley, who Lucia had her namesake restaurant in Minneapolis for 30 some years, and it brought the northern flavors, the Midwest flavors, and really highlighted them. She started working with local pork producers and local ingredients, and it was really a well-known restaurant. Sadly, it closed like 2017 or 2018, but it had a really long run, and so this is her cookbook. And today, I picked Swedish meatballs because it has such a nostalgic thing for me. Given our German and Scandinavian heritage and growing up surrounded by it in the Midwest, at Christmas time, when I went to Gustavus College, we always had Swedish meatballs on the smorgasbords around the Christmas celebrations, and that's where I first learned to make them. So I'm going to show you a riff on her version of Swedish meatballs. So meatballs have been around the world for a really long time. I think most historians say they attribute them to somewhere in Turkey as the origin, where you might have heard of kofta meatballs. Basically some ground meat packed with some binder, rice or crackers, or in this case some bread, eggs, seasoned and cooked. The meatballs traveled up from there through Europe. You know, Italian meatballs are probably the most famous, but we've got Swedish meatballs. And in Lucia's book, she uses a combination of pork, beef, and veal. Veal's a lot harder to find and fairly expensive to get ground veal, so I'm going to use ground pork and ground beef in my meatballs. And then they're going to get seasoned with some really traditional sort of Swedish or Scandinavian seasonings. We've got nutmeg and cardamom, ginger, and allspice. I've got some berries, which I'll put in my spice grinder because I don't have any ground allspice. A little salt and pepper. Then we're going to cook them, and we're going to make just a basic brown gravy with a little bit of beef stock, flour, butter, and we're going to put just a touch of stone ground mustard in there to just kind of give it some depth of flavor. We're prepped, measured, ready to go. Basically, we're going to take the two meats, put them in a bowl with all of our beautiful seasonings, the bread and the milk. Just mush them all and bring them all together. We're going to cook them in a skillet, and then we'll make our gravy in that same skillet. So this is kind of like a great one-pot meal. Typically served over some noodles or some rice if you want, or you can just enjoy them on their own. I like to make my meatballs about golf ball size, maybe a little bit slightly larger than that. When I was in college and we made thousands of these, we would just use a ice cream scoop and scoop them out. But since my hands are dirty already, let's just roll them by hand. All right, before we start cooking the meatballs, I gotta tell you about this cool cookware I just got. Its name brand is Tuxton. I've been slowly replacing my Calphalon, which doesn't work on induction, to something that works on induction. This is stainless steel. And then I can get rid of this glass electric cooktop, which will be fantastic. But I have been buying some All-Clad and then heard about this Tuxton stuff, and it's fabulous. In All-Clad, you've got rivets here, and they've got their handles on the outside, so that when you're cleaning, there's no rivets. The handle itself is super ergonomic. I love it. Easy to hold. The whole stuff is easy to clean. This is what one of their saucepans looks like. Same thing, no rivets. And on the inside, I don't know if you can see that on the video. There you go, you can see. They actually have some measurements there for you, which is super cool if you're trying to put like 2 quarts of water in a pot or something like that. So this is my new Tuxton cookware. It's It's a PSA for them. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting endorsed or anything. I just wanted to tell you folks, because if you're looking for new cookware, go look for Tuxton Home pots and pans. They're fantastic. Here's our wonderful Swedish meatballs. They sort of are brown on brown, so I threw a little parsley on here just to make them pop a little bit pretty. I think most of us these days think about Ikea when they think about Swedish meatballs, but I think about going to college at Gustavus. So if any of my fellow Gusties are out there watching this, give us a thumbs up or a shout. And if you have any other childhood memory recipes that you can remember or think of, drop them in the comments too. I'd love to know what you like to celebrate from your childhood. So thanks to the inspiration from Lucia Watson and Beth Dooley in her cookbook, we've got Swedish meatballs. Cheers.